Hey y'all, hey. So I decided that's what I like and we're gonna keep it, okay? After you guys watched last week's review, I seen a lot of you guys were like displeased and pretty surprised that I am not an Oval watcher. But guess what, y'all? The Oval show is not for me, okay? And y'all will not gang up on me trying to make me believe that it should be for me and that I'm doing the wrong thing, okay? Because I remember I had seen a clip of the first episode and it was Paige Hurd, which is the girl from Everybody Hates Chris. And I know she was trying to like have sex with somebody and then they lightly pushed her off. And this girl did a back handspring. She did a double pirouette, okay? She somehow hit the corner of a desk and the next thing we know, she was on the ground and her head was bleeding. So I was like, this show is not for me, okay? It's way over the top and I'm good, okay? I'm enjoying watching Ruthless, so let me survive. Let me live. All right, so back to the review, which is why we're here. Okay, we do have a 3-part review as always. First, we do speak about the summary / recap, as well as the character analysis, and 3 is the final thoughts. So, getting right into the review because that's what we like to do. This is Tyler Perry's Ruthless, episode 12. Yeah, so the episode does pick up, you know, being in the punishment trailer with Marva, Ruth, and Daikon. If y'all remember, Daikon just punched Ruth in her face. Okay, so, you know, Marva asks, why did you strike her? And Daikon responds with, she was upset about the girl. And then, of course, Marva is just shocked, okay? She is stunned. All right, she's like, well, you had every reason to strike her. You know, Ruth, you're an elder now. You must be stronger, right? And then also, Marva speaks about how their motto is an eye for an eye. And it's just like, y'all want to be the Bible so bad, but the Bible will never. Which is probably why they created this cult. So anywho, so Ruth leaves and Marva tells Daikon that the highest would like to see him. And she speaks about how she is concerned. You know, she's scared for the highest well-being. And she tells Daikon that he needs to make him feel better. And the way Marva said it, I really believe Marva was talking about sex. So Marva goes ahead to meet up with Ruth and Marva tries to trick Ruth into telling her what really happened. But Ruth was too smooth, you know. Ruth decided to see what it was that Marva knew, which is exactly nothing, before she said anything. And Marva then came out and asked her if her and Daikon had sex because she seen the way Daikon was looking at her as well as how close they were together. So of course, you know, Ruth said no. And Marva told her that Ruth needs to stay away from Daikon because Daikon needs to stay pure for the highest because they work extremely close to him. And I realized during this conversation, she was giving Ruth a whole lot of power. You know, because I remember her having this conversation with Daikon, but yet with Ruth, it's all like, oh, Ruth, you got to do this, you got to do that. So now women can make decisions? Confusing. Ruth tells Tally that she had sex with Daikon, and Tally is just blown away, okay? Tally is like, this is so dangerous, like, oh my God. And it's quite annoying because it's like, Tally, you knew the plan. Like, literally every episode, Ruth been saying how she's trying to have sex with Daikon, but yet, why are you acting surprised? Like, keep up and shut up, you know? Get used to it. So, you know, it's clear that Ruth is like very concerned, worried, borderline scared that Daikon is going to tell the highest about what happened between them. But Tally does like try to reassure her that, well, if Daikon didn't tell Marva, then he's not telling the highest and that she's in the clear. Tally then goes on to get emotional while asking questions about their children. And she tells Ruth that she wants to see her child. And, you know, going against Tally wishes of, don't trust Andrew, we can't trust him. Ruth said that she's going to get Andrew to help with Tally seeing her daughter. And then moving on. Daikon. So Daikon goes to the highest house, bedroom. I don't know what the fuck this is. His trailer, okay, and while he enters, he sees one of the boys, you know, drugging up the highest, and he decides to take over. So in the syringe, like, he does empty like half of the amount of drugs that was in there, and once the highest notices, like, he jumps up, he gets a little crazy, you know, goes a little aggressive, acting real fiend-like-ish, you know, real druggy-ish. And when now he asks Daikon, like, are you trying to kill me? And, you know, Daikon is like, no, it's too much. Like, that's dangerous. And the highest is like, yo, get out. Daikon refuses. So then the highest goes into, are you disobeying me? Like, I could have you killed. And, you know, it's kind of like a breakdown. You know, the highest is like yelling, being very aggressive, and then like kind of like breaking down, and Daikon is there saying, I love you, I would never want to hurt you, like blah blah. Like, this was definitely intended to be a very heartfelt moment, but it definitely felt flat because it was just really awkward. And I don't know if it was the acting choices or what, but I was really not in the moment, not even gonna lie. So then the scene ends with Daikon and the highest laying together, and even with that, it was just so awkward. I'm like, oh my God. And Daikon, you know, tells the highest, saying that he promises he will never be disloyal to him. And that's like, oh, a roof. You better be careful, girl. You better be careful. So then we have the spy girl. The spy girl and the deputy has just had sex. And, you know, the deputy apologizes, saying, oh, I'm so sorry for being that quick. But it's like, come on, deputy. We know this right here is an everyday thing for you, okay? Ain't nothing sad about it. This is your everyday life. But, you know, the girl playing her role, you know, she tells him like, oh, you were amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then she decides to, you know, start playing her game. And she gets the deputy to speak about Brian, you know, to mention this private file that the sheriff has on the Rakadushis. And then she also gets him to speak about how he believes that they have someone on the inside of the Rakadushi clan. Because, you know, pillow talk is really a real thing, people. It's not a joke. It's not a game. If you want a man to talk, you know what to do in that bed. But we're Christians here, so keep it moving. Unless you're married. Nah. So anyway, so then we have Malcolm. Malcolm is waiting outside of Sarah's apartment, and he decides to go in, and he tells Sarah that he will leave Cynthia today if Sarah tells him that they can be together. You know, he says these last 3 months were the best 3 months of his life, and blah, blah, blah. You know, Sarah tells him, like, I don't feel the same way. Like, I was confused at the time. And then Malcolm tells her that he paid for her mortgage, paid for her car, and then gives her $6,000, but then says he can get more, you just have to wait a little bit. And that actually does sound a bit illegal to me, but we just gonna let that pass. So then, you know, Malcolm says like, yo, you don't get it, like, I love you. And then Sarah replies, I love you too. And I ain't even upset at Sarah, because, you know, when men put the money where their mouth is, you know, and take care of financial responsibilities, that is a turn on. You know, you start looking at them real differently, and it's like, okay, maybe you is a little attractive. So I ain't even mad at Sarah, okay? And then, you know, Sarah starts to break down, and she's like, I'm just confused and I'm scared. And Malcolm embraces her, and Malcolm says, everything will be better once we are together, you know? And it's like I said, I'm not mad at Sarah, because Andrew sucks. You know, he been sucking, and it's like, girl, do what you got to do, okay? Because Andrew got somebody pregnant, you know, he trying to marry somebody, he got a whole separate life, okay? But it's still extremely effed up, because Sarah, Malcolm is married. What about Cynthia? Like, this is terrible. And honestly, I'm just really grateful that Malcolm and Cynthia doesn't have any kids, because that would be terrible, especially since he using all his money on Sarah. But moving on. So Ruth decides that the way that she's going to get Andrew to talk to her is if she carries this large bucket and, you know, asks him to carry it, which of course he obliges, because Andrew is just a gentleman on this whole cult, okay? And Ruth starts off the conversation, you know, saying, I know that you swapped shoes with one of the boys this morning, which, side note, that whole instance was like 3 or 4 episodes ago, okay? And Ruth just said it was this morning. I'm telling y'all, it's like 6 episodes per day. It's terrible. Andrew was like, you know, he's like caught off guard, and Ruth tells him like, don't worry, I won't tell on you, because we can be each other's allies here. And, you know, Andrew is just not with it at all. And then Ruth tells him that, oh, like, Tally loves him, and, you know, she wants them to be together, but Andrew has to have more patience and like needs to not tell the highest what's going on, because Tally isn't back in good graces yet, which, I mean, Andrew does agree, because it does make sense. And then Ruth decides to sneak in that Tally would like to see her daughter, and Andrew's like, no, like, that is completely breaking all rules. And then Ruth says, well, so is you loving Tally. And Andrew's like, are you threatening me? And she's like, no, I'm loving you. And I don't know what kind of response that was, but that didn't make no dang on sense. And honestly, just like every time that Andrew talks to Ruth, Ruth is extremely pushy. Okay, I know Andrew is tired of talking to her, and it's just like she needs to back. But then also, girl, if it's working for you, keep doing what you're doing, I guess. So Daikon gets word that the sheriff is coming, which is really just Brian. First thing out of his mouth is that he's looking for Andrew. And that was a little surprising because it's like, don't you not like Andrew or trust Andrew? But yet the first person you look towards to like help you out is Andrew. That's cute or whatever, but not really, because y'all know I can't stand Andrew. So, you know, everybody starts preparing for war. You know, since the sheriff is coming, they think the governor is coming, and this is the time that, you know, they're trying to be taken down, even though it's only one guy and one man. So anyway, right, so everyone is preparing for the war, and then Tally and Ruth sees Marva, you know, taking out the children's applesauce, which is really just, you know, poison to kill them, right? So, you know, when Marva takes it out and takes it to the classroom to the kids, you know, Ruth and Tally, you know, they bust into the classroom, basically telling Marva not to do it. Like, yo, you need to wait until the siren happens. Like, you know, you need to wait for the word of the highest before you give the kids these applesauce. And Marva, you know, she's like definitely like doing pushback. And then she decides to, you know, call both of their kids, Callie and whoever Tally's daughter is, because actually I don't know what the fuck her name is. So anyway, she calls them, you know, up to the front of the room, and Marva tells Ruth and Tally that if they don't go now, then their children will eat now. And it's like, Marva is really a murderer. Like, she is a murderer, and she is a B-word, because why is she so ready to kill these kids as well as herself? Like, girl, slow down. You know? So then Andrew comes in the classroom with his gun, and he, like, you know, lightly pushes Tally and Ruth out of the classroom. And as Tally and Ruth is like freaking out outside, telling him like, yo, like, she's gonna kill our kids, like, no, Andrew like tries to reassure them like, no, like, listen, nothing's gonna happen, like, the siren isn't gonna go off, it's only one car, it's only one officer, like, yo, get to your post, you know? So then they go ahead and they get their guns, which, mind you, this cult has a lot of freaking guns, and I don't understand why they got so many guns. Like, they really is going for war. But moving on, right? So then Andrew, you know, he goes to his post, and while he's there, he decides that he wants to call Mac. And it's real cute because it's like, oh, so you remember his phone number now? Like, now you can reach out to him? Okay, so he calls Mac and he tells him like, yo, you know, you about to make like a really big mistake. You know, if, you know, like, you know, if the sheriff pulls in here, well, then you're going to have 30 dead children on your hands. Like, this right here is a powder keg land and whatnot. So then Mac hangs up with him, and he calls Brian. And he calls Brian, and Brian answers as soon as he is like right in front of the gate to the cult. And then the episode's end. So what I will say about that moment is that I do not believe that Andrew knew that the sheriff was working, you know, with Mac. You know, I think that he was just like, well, let me just try, you know, let me just see. And he decided to call Mac. It was like, yo, call the sheriff down. And then when Mac was like, okay, now Andrew knows that, oh, the sheriff and deputy is working with Mac. But anywho, moving on to character analysis. Ruth is extremely lucky, okay? First of all, yay, that Daikon actually, you know, covered for her, so that's amazing. But Ruth is lucky that all she got was a fist to her face. And I actually really do hate to say that, but I really do mean it, okay? Because Ruth really did try it, all right? And she did not think this plan through at all. But lucky for her, the world is ending, okay? At the moment, you know, they're going through war, so, you know, she is being put on the back burner for her. But we shall see how her cards unfold, especially after all of this blows over, because she really did stand and disobey Marva. So we gotta see what happens between her and Marva, as well as her and Daikon, because I'm interested. Tally, my annoyance for Tally is growing every episode. Like, I am really over, first of all, I'm over seeing her in them dang on bruises. Now, I do understand it's only been like 3 or 4 days, but child, like, hurry up and heal. Like, this, I'm tired of it. It gotta go. But more importantly, I really am tired of her afraidish ways. And then what's terrible about Tally is that I don't appreciate the pressures that she puts on Ruth, you know, for Ruth to like save them, like to save her and their kids and like they need to leave and stuff. But then when Ruth was over here making moves, like you're against everything that she's doing. Like Tally, either get in line, come up with a better plan, or shut the F up, okay? Because honestly, if I was Ruth, I would really avoid seeing Tally, because this is just too much pressure. It's too much added on pressure to Ruth, especially right now, since Ruth don't know if she gonna live, she gonna die. She don't know if she just effed up everything. She does not need Tally's added pressure to her. Cut. Okay, Andrew. Now I know some of y'all could be like, oh, Andrew is working with the police, but I do not believe that is true at all, okay? I definitely believe Andrew is still out here, you know, being a real and true member to the cult, to the Rakadushi clan. And I really feel like the only reason why he even called Mac was just because he knew that, you know, the children were about to die. And, you know, because everyone has their guns, you know, ready to shoot, he knew that they would, you know, they would have to die. You know, as in, because, you know, because like they just can't kill, like, you know, somebody as part of the government and then keep living as if they didn't do anything. Like, after you kill them, basically all y'all got to commit suicide and all y'all got to go out. And he just didn't want his people to die. You know, he wanted to keep living. So, no, I give no points to Andrew. And it's still F Andrew. Until he literally, hardcore proof shows me something different. I'm still here. Right here. Brian, honestly, this week, I don't even want to talk about Brian. I'm not even going to hold you. I don't want to discuss Brian because you are a full-on disappointment. And I knew this was going to happen. We all did. Like, it'll take a genius or a top-tier detective guy to realize that this is going to happen. Like, why would Brian ever think that it was okay for him just to pop up? You know, and think that everything was going to be okay. Especially with him knowing that the Rakadushis, you know, have weapons. You know, how, like, they have people watching. Like, this whole thing was complete stupid. It was just very, very unprepared, you know. And hopefully, after he speaks to Mac, like, hopefully he pulls back and leaves. Which, of course, would be the most awkward, you know, put it in reverse and drive off that we have ever seen. But I'm pretty sure he's going to have to talk to Daikon first. And that conversation probably is going to be a little left, is what I will say. But also what I will say about Andrew is that, like I said previously, I'm pretty sure Andrew did not know that the sheriff or Brian was like working with Mac. You know, he just like had a hunch and he was like, yo, I'm just gonna go with my gut. Like, I'm just gonna try. This is the only card I have, so I'm gonna call Mac. But now that Mac called the sheriff, which is Brian, and, you know, Brian is going to, you know, leave, that is going to tell Andrew that the sheriff is in, you know, Mac's pocket. And then, of course, you know, Daikon's going to tell Andrew, like, well, no, it wasn't the sheriff. Like, it was the deputy who was there. And then Andrew's going to be like, that's why he looks so familiar, because he's working with Mac. And then I'm pretty sure that's going to, like, set off a few, you know, hints and trails and whatever else I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. Daikon, I really am proud of Daikon. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, you better cover up for Ruth with her trifling self, even though she don't deserve it. But I just respect Daikon. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, he really is a bad character. Of course, he is the villain and everything, but Daikon is Daikon. Like, Daikon has a code. He sticks to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can literally always count on Daikon. Like, what you see is what you get. He really is a stand-up dude, and I can respect that, even though you just can't go over here hitting women, Daikon, but I guess on your code you can. But anyway, it's time for war, and Daikon is leading his troops. And that's nothing that you can do except for commend it, you know. But yeah, we have to see what happens, because I still want to see what he gonna do with Ruth, okay, and the relationship, the dynamic of him and Andrew's relationship, now that, you know, Daikon and gave Andrew some points, since Andrew stood by him and did what needed to be done. Okay, the highest is crazy and he sleeps, so that's that. So this episode was really just okay. You know, if I had to rate it, I'd give it a little 7.2, okay, because one, as we continue to travel, you know, through this season, seeing every episode, the writing, you know, the poor choices in writing, and I hate to say it because, you know, I don't know if y'all know, but I really do love me some Tyler Perry, okay? And I do not like to critique his work, but I will be honest at the end of the day because that's just what I do. But the writing, like, and honestly, I don't even know if it's the writing or if it's the actor's choices, but because it is like a problem that keeps happening, I'm just gonna blame both of y'all. But either way it go, scenes are too long, you know, in a way, like, you know, when people are going back and forth, you know, whether it was Daikon in the highest about, oh, I love you, oh, are you disobeying me, like that was long. Or even Ruth and Andrew with the whole, me and you should be allies, I don't trust you, that was long. And of course the previous episodes, it's like he has them repeating the same thing to each other, going back and forth, and it's like this scene literally could have been cut way shorter. Like, you're actually wasting my eyesight in the time on this episode, okay? There was really like no character development in this episode or anything that really happened because the whole like war thing kind of took over, and that's where everyone was focusing. And I wasn't even on edge, you know. I feel like I was a little cheated, I ain't even gonna lie, because, you know, with all of this like excitement that's supposed to be happening, you know, with Daikon and the highest having their like little emotional moment, you know, with Malcolm and Sarah, and then like with Ruth, Marvin, and Tally, no, don't kill my kids, you better get out, you disobeyed me, you know. I felt like it was high tension moments, but yet for whatever reason it wasn't, you know, it just didn't hit me, like, you know, it wasn't connecting with the viewer, which was my eyes, which means it was our eyes, okay? So kind of like a few misses, but nothing that's like too deep. You know, we here for the next episode as always because we committed and we enjoyed the show. But I will say the best part of this episode, which I hate to admit, but also this lets you know that the episode must have been kind of weak, it was Malcolm and Sarah scene. You know, because I feel like they played that out right. As in acting wise, good choices, you know, the tension, the emotions, they did that pretty well. Okay, maybe the other scenes could have picked up from that. But anywho, y'all know what it is. Until the next one, I shall see you guys later.